That's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of the Hard Rockin' Sports Show, live from high top of Hard Rockin' Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 2-hour weekly get-together. We bring you all the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide worlds of sports. And everybody, welcome to Thursday, December the 26th. That's right, December the 26th in the year of our good Lord, 2024. And we're headed for 2025. It is less than a week away at this point. So I hope you guys have had a great Christmas holiday. I had a spectacular one. Had family time, have time off for work. I did a lot of running around. And today I didn't do a blessed thing. The first time in a very long time, I sat on my butt all day, took a nap, prepared for the show, did a couple of things. But today is the first day in a very, 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 very long time that I didn't leave the house. I can't remember the last day in my life that I got up and didn't go out of this house. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem like much to most of you. I get it. But for me, it's something that just never happened. So, stayed in. I watched a lot of TV, cleared up a little bit of DVR, played a little guitar, and hung out in the house. And it was a great day. Tomorrow, back to it. Got a lot of running around to do, so I'll do it tomorrow. And lots of stuff going on, but it was a great holiday. Got a little white Christmas on Christmas Eve. Woke up, walked outdoors, and it was snowing. So that was a nice treat. Got to spend a lot of time with my family and see everybody over at Mom and Dad's house on Tuesday night. So I hope you guys had a great one. Sports has been a little quiet. No NHL, very little basketball, a little bit of football yesterday. Not much in the way of good football. Not a lot to talk about this week. I got to be honest with you. Just ain't a lot to talk about. But we got a little Yankees, a little Mets. We'll talk a little music, Kiss and Iron Maiden. A little news from the worlds of that. I'm sure we'll muddle through 2 hours. We'll hope to get you guys involved and find out how your Christmases were and are. It's still there. This is still the holiday as we creep into the new year. No, we will not be doing our year-end show complete with the dead list, as we call it here. Jeff will be reading that off next Thursday night. Hopefully he'll prepare himself and he'll be ready to go. But listen, we got a lot to talk about. We are 25 days from the new real president, who's pretty much president now. I think the other guy's checked out. I heard he's in St. Croix at this point, probably just trying to stay out of everybody's way. Real quick, I want to talk politics in a while. I'll take a minute to do that. We were talking about Biden's legacy at this point. And, most presidents years later, regardless, Bill Clinton is glorified now in the Democratic Party. Obviously, Trump has been reborn. I mean, 2016 he's president. 2020 they can't get rid of him fast enough. And 2024, he becomes the most voted Republican candidate of all time. Easily turns half this, 3/4 of this country into the red. Jimmy Carter, is one of those presidents I never thought would rehabilitate his legacy, and he has it. Most people know Jimmy Carter was a terrible president. This guy has the chance to go down as the worst president ever. It's true. I mean, look around. Look what we went through. We have no idea. Here's the biggest thing. We have no idea who's been running this country for 4 years. So I'm curious 2, 3, 4 years from now if there's a change in all that. And speaking of legacies, get ready for congestion pricing. That's right. You'll be heading in on January 5th into Manhattan. And you're going to get hit with another $9 toll. And on gridlock alert days, it'll be 11 and change if you drive a car. So F you, Kathy Hochul. And I can't wait to get the hell out of this area. It's just, how much can they put their hands in your pocket? I mean, that's just the bottom line. It's disgusting. I got to be honest with you, folks. It is absolutely disgusting that this is what they do to us. But all right, listen, enough of that garbage. Let's get the show on the road and bring on my partner in crime. And looks like his computer's back up and running. And maybe he got himself a new computer or he cleaned up the old one. I'm not really sure. It doesn't really matter which to me. All that matters is when I click the button, there's a handsome guy on the other side. Oh boy, I see where it is. Folks, sometimes I don't know where the show is going to start and how it's going to start. I got to feel I know exactly where this one's going to start. But he's every right. I'm not going to hold him back. Let's let him get to it. He's my buddy of 40 years. He's Mr. Jeff, the Black Sabbath Talwinski. Go ahead.
Hello, peasants.
Yeah.
Bow down to your future champion, bro.
Yeah.
Bow down now.
Listen.
Acknowledge it. You can't even speak right now.
I can't. Listen, I can't. You went in. You did your job. You're in the championship game. And here's one thing I will say: I respect the fact that you didn't take the easy way out. A lot of people in this position I've seen. Now, if it was greater money, who knows? But you could have easily took John's offer to basically split the pot and walked away with a little extra money, or maybe a little less money, but there's some guaranteed money nonetheless. But you chose to go ahead and play and try to win the championship and go for the extra $100. So good for that part. I'll say good for you.
It wasn't even the money, man. It wasn't even the money. It's everything else other than the money.
Okay.
So you're not in the position that I'm in. You don't know what it's like to be. You're just among the people. You're a serf. You're a peasant. Get to the position that I'm in, man.
That's true.
I'm going to be an overlord, fucking a leader.
An overlord? Is that really what you just said?
Okay.
An overlord? Is that really what you just said?
Yeah. See, the jealousy that is being emanated from your person right now is just too much for me to take.
It's too much. I can put you back on hold if you want.
It doesn't matter. It's not what the people want. The people want to hear from me, man. They want to hear what I have to say. They want to know how somebody disproves that anybody with hard work could do whatever they choose to do. I came out of nowhere. Last year at this time, I was just a lackey on somebody else's staff. Okay. Now what happened? I led my own team. Bang. Here we are. On the cusp of a championship.
Okay. Yeah. And if you don't win, then what happens?
Nothing. I still win.
You still win?
I still win.
That's how you're looking at it?
I there's no other way to look at it. Don't you understand? See, look, first of all, you drew me in.
I drew you in? How did I draw you in?
Well, you got me involved with this, and I graciously accepted your offer to be on your staff last year.
Yes.
Okay,
first off, it was 2 years now.
And then I helped you out. I learned. Okay. I've listened to the things that Mr. Jeffrey says, that Matt says. Okay. And you know what? These guys, they're hovering around last place. They're mediocre teams. They don't know what they're talking about. They're bums. B-U-M-Z. Not even an S. They get a Z. Bums. Okay. I took a team, a new franchise, an expansion team, and led them to the promised land.
You ain't get to the promised land yet. Your promised land is still one step away.
Listen, it very well can, but it is a moral victory all around.
I will say that I am happy for you. Yes, you took a team that finished in the bottom part of the league last year, and you resurrected it, put your own stamp on it, and you are at this point no worse than second in the league. So congratulations to you for that feat. I have decided to abdicate my commissionership, so I don't have to have the indignity of sending you money if you win. So I will have Frank Jeffrey make that Venmo call. That will be his.
I refuse to give him my contact information. I am only accepting the money in person from you.
Yeah. Well, you better choke on that one. So,
and you better bring it up. You better bring it with you on Monday.
I will bring it with me on Monday. So either way, but it's a good thing. So good luck to both you guys on Sunday and to the third place game. There's still a second game to be played, and it was a fun season. I'm happy that everybody stayed involved until the last games. And I appreciate it. And Sharon, yes, it's very sunny up there inside your husband's head. So,
first of all, let's get serious for a minute.
Oh, my God.
That position is open to you.
I appreciate it.
That's
thanks. Yeah.
Second, It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that you took, I wanted. And I was a little flustered going into the draft, not knowing what to expect. Was I going to handle it? Was I going to make the right decisions and everything else? And evidently, I made some good decisions because look where I am.
Sure.
Thank God for Josh Allen scoring like 70 points one week. It was unbelievable. But I had wanted to grab Burrow as my second quarterback. You grabbed him. I wanted Gibbs badly. You grabbed them. And there was somebody else that you took on me too. There was a third guy. And, listen, when you look back at some of the, I remember the night doing it with me, you and Frank, and there was Christian McCaffrey, and then he ended up taking him. And then that was a wasted pick for Frank, unfortunately. Yeah. And,
well, listen, I mean, Carl Graham on draft night texted me after the draft to say, you should dump Jordan Addison, the Minnesota Vikings wide receiver. He's going to get suspended. He's not even going to play. And Jordan Addison at the end of the year was huge for me. I didn't listen. He told me, I was a wasted draft pick. I don't know why you bothered. He's going to get suspended. Carl Graham wound up at the bottom half of the bottom third of the league.
And he was the last year's champion.
That's correct. And I listen, for myself, I won. I won at the end of the year. I went 9-3. I resurrected my season. It was a little late, but all right, no problem. I was the only team to until the playoffs when John did it to beat the number one team during the regular season. I beat Steel Yanks. They only got to do it in the regular season, so I'm happy. It's not a legacy league, so everybody gets to push their guys back into all chips in. We do it all over again next year. I will be suggesting that if we continue this league, make this a legacy league starting next year, which means you will be able to hold on to certain pieces if you want going forward and build around that team for the future to make it a little more interesting. So,
it definitely sounds cool, but either way, it is cool. And, it was a learning experience without a doubt, but it was fun.
Yep, that's what it's supposed to be. It makes it a little more enjoyable Sundays. You're kind of watching your team. You're checking on everybody else. You're kind of rooting for your players, even if they're not on your regular team. And like I said, the one thing you hope for is that you get to the last 3-4 weeks. Guys like Catalano's out of it. Iggy Mo's team was out of it, but Iggy Mo was still making moves at the end. So was Frankie. So I appreciate that. The effort. A lot of teams, a lot of leagues will just give up and not play their guys and just not pay attention. So thanks to everybody. We'll regroup. I don't think we'll be adding any teams next year. We'll see if everybody comes back, if everybody gets invited back. There's a couple question marks in my brain, but we'll see. We shall see.
I know of at least 2 people that may be interested in an opening if one's there.
All right. Well, that's it's a strong possibility that I beside being involved in doing the team, to me, it's about being involved. So the guys who made no effort to get kind of involved, I might just not invite them back next year. It's not a money league where you paid for your team, for life. So, we'll try to get to the point where it's people kind of are a little more involved in the community of it. But we'll see. But we'll see what happens. We still got a big game this weekend. Jeff versus John Marhefka's Red Zone Invasion. And Bees Knees is locking horns with Steel Yanks for third place. So we'll stay tuned. I'm sure during next week's show, we'll let you know. You'll know for sure who won. Jeff will definitely let you know if it's him. So anyway, guys, let's kick in the real show.
We may have to actually have a special broadcast on Tuesday.
No, we're not having a special broadcast on Tuesday. It's not going to be a special broadcast on Tuesday.
I'll just Facebook Live.
That's fine. You can absolutely Facebook Live if you want. I'd even say this: if you do win Monday night, if you want to go Facebook Live, I will present you the money in person, and you can gloat and do your acceptance speech. How's that?
I don't know if I want you to get off that easy. There's going to be too much.
Easy. If he's standing in front of you doing a live Facebook Live, that's going to get off easy.
You could give me the money, but I want you to grovel for that position that I got, man.
All right, yeah. I'll send you my resume.
Please let me join your squad, man. Please let me be part of this. Let me be part of this.
I'll send you my resume. You give me some consideration. Oh boy,
Listen,
here we go.
I'm going to tell you right now, Bill Belichick. They thought Bill Belichick wasn't going to do anything. Look what the man accomplished.
Yeah.
Here I am. I am a modern day Bill Belichick.
Here we go. Here we go. All right, folks. Well, I hope everybody's Christmas was good, and the shit's piling up now. My dad's on hold. Let's get to that. But Jeff, let's start the show off properly now. Jeff, how was your week and how was your Christmas?
Christmas was good, from what I remember.
What you I had a few texts with you, and I know the celebration you were having. So
yes, yeah, we celebrated. Well, I celebrated. I still have some dead soldiers out and about in the yard. About 17 of them. So it was a good day.
Good. That's what it's all about. And you enjoy your vacation. You've been on vacation for a while. So you go back this weekend, a couple of days, and then you're back on for another few days, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going back on Sunday, and then I got to go back on New Year's Day. I don't have to go back. I chose to do it this way to see a way I save on some vacation time. So I've been off for like 2.5 weeks, but I only used like 64 hours of vacation with the holidays and the way I did it. So, and that time piles up pretty quickly. So I'll be getting a letter saying, "Oh, you need to take off again, there, sonny boy." Like, oh, okay.
I wish that was the case for all of us, but I'm glad. And I had a nice Christmas at my mom and dad's, and yesterday at the house. And today I took a nice, almost a kind of a recoup day. So I'm relaxed all day today, get ready for the show. And again, there's not a ton to talk about, but I got a few topics. I'll put them out there, and we'll do the show. And we got we'll get a lot of Christmas stuff in. We got New Year's around the corner. Jeff's got the big gig this weekend. By the way, I thought it was the other band this weekend. I didn't know it was a Remorons gig this weekend.
Yes, Remorons, definitely.
Yes.
The Remorons this Saturday at Mother Pug's. Middle-aged delinquents is February 1st.
Okay.
Somewhere in Jersey. I don't even know where.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then there's going to be these guys got me all confused, man. They man, oh fucking man.
Well, man. Listen, as long as you got some stuff going on, we got the big reunion on Monday night.
That I'm looking forward to.
Yep. At this point, it seems like everybody's in and excited. I did speak to Ronnie, and I would say it's 70-30. He's coming. I wouldn't say no. I won't say yes, but I did speak to him, and he's working on it. So hopefully we will have Ron Mormino as well. And that's it. It should be a fun night. The downstairs room, if everybody's in the area, they want to pop in, say hello.
Thank God, man. Oh, my God. Thank God.
And we'll look forward to that on Monday night. And, of course, we'll be at Tony's Brick Oven about 4 o'clock or so, having a slice of pizza and starting the night off a little earlier.
I'm going to have to call him tomorrow to make sure that he's open. He should be.
Well, again, so last year, yeah, that's right. Last year was on a Thursday or Wednesday.
Yeah, but last year it
was a Wednesday night, so he's open on that. Yes. Yeah, all right. So give him a call. Make sure he's going to be open. If not, we'll have to pick a different spot. I would imagine most places are open on Mondays, but I don't know if a lot of those restaurants are closed on Mondays. And
no, I know he's closed on Sunday, but I don't know. If he's going to. Well, I'll find out. Please remind me to ask him.
I will definitely ask you to double check that. So everybody, like I said, Jeff's got a busy schedule of playing this weekend, Saturday night, 9 o'clock over at Mother Pug's. If you're in the area, you want to see a great show, the Remorons, take a ride over to Mother Pug's and check out Jeff and John and what's it? It's John, right? The other guitar player, and
John and Chris.
So
Jeff, John, Chris.
Yeah, take a look. 45-minute set. So if you're an old guy like myself and you don't want to be out till midnight, you can get over there at 9 o'clock, have a beer, and see them in a very intimate setting, and still get home for kickoffs of a couple of late games. So I'll do that, and we'll kick the show off here. Let's get my dad on and see what he got to say, and then we'll get into some Christmas. We got Ricky Henderson. I got an Iron Maiden story. I got a Kiss story. I got a whole bunch of things to talk about. But let's start with my dad, see what he's got to say, and then we'll come on back and do some. And I got to ask real quick though, Computer's fixed?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, got on today, no problem. I've been sitting here since 20 to 7.
Wow, that's beautiful. Okay.
I'm not going to say anything. Wait, hopefully it's running good. And
very, very good. I'm happy to hear it. So let's get my dad out. See what he's got to say. What's up, Pop?
Good, guys. Hey, Jeff, how was your holiday?
Good, Mr. Flero. How about you?
Very good. Very nice. Have the family. People ate good.
It's good.
Drank good. It was nice. What I was really thinking about was Ricky Henderson.
Oh, okay. That was good first story of the night anyway, so go ahead.
He was, if you put him in the top 5 ball players that I've ever seen, I would say he was in there. He could do everything. The problem was, I think he was too much in love with himself.
Well, yeah, I would say the early days of Ricky Henderson, I always like to put it this way. He never comes up in the conversation, Jeff, on who the best ball player you ever saw play was. It just never happens. Everybody talks about, from our end generation, you're talking about guys like Griffey and Bonds, and you get to the guy A-Rods, and you get into those conversations. And for my dad, you're talking Mantle and Mays, and Ricky Henderson never comes up. But Jeff, if you really think about it, he was one of the most dominant ball players, especially in the 80s and mid 90s that played the game.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up his stats now. He had some incredible numbers, man. He really did. And a lot of people, you're right. And I think it's because he did so much well, but he never really, other than stealing bases, he didn't totally capture the league. Like, he wasn't a home run hitter. He only had 297 career home runs. So he wasn't really a power hitter, but he had some decent numbers.
Yeah, listen.
I'm surprised he's not talked about more, to be honest with you. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy who, we used to talk about it, and it was like a walking triple, Dad. He would, he got out first. If he walked or hit a single, next thing you know, he's standing on third base. And, from 1980, 79, 80 through early 90s, Ricky Henderson was as dominant a player as there was in the league.
Yeah, but I watched him when he first came up with Oakland. And I always got the impression he really didn't give anything to the game. He had so much potential. And if he was mad or you didn't do what he wanted, you moved him in the order. His hammy hurt him.
Hammy.
Yeah, that was his famous thing.
Yeah.
I remember that. My hammy
hurts me. And I remember we used to talk in work about the perfect trade was Ricky Henderson, who the Yankees had, to the Mets for Ron Darling. And you would think if you got Ricky Henderson, you won the bet because he was an all-around. There was nothing he couldn't really do, but he never put his heart into it. It was like, if he got a base hit, he just about made it to first base.
No, listen, it's fair to say that Ricky jaked it, as they used to say back in the 80s. There were days that it seemed like he took the night off. But yet there's a guy who played, Jeff, until he was almost 45 years old. Loved the game, maybe realized how much he loved it too late, and didn't appreciate his skills and ability. But, the guy hit for power, was a tremendous leadoff hitter, probably the best leadoff hitter I've ever seen. Was a good outfielder. I wouldn't say he was a great outfielder. Had some pop in his bat. Now, he had a few years of 16, 24, 28, 17, 28, 18, 15, 21, 17. So he had, middle of his career, he had some good numbers. Now, Jeff, think about those. Those don't sound great today. But back in 1986 or 85, when you're hitting 24 and 28 homers, that's pretty good back in those places for a guy who's a leadoff hitter.
Tom, I got to agree with you. I mean, but if you look at his season average, right, which really tells a number.
Yes, that's a good number to look at.
He only averaged 106 games a year.
Yep.
He has so many stats you got to keep going back.
Oh my God!
His career average was only 279, and he only averaged 10 home runs a year.
Yep.
And 38 RBIs. But his stealing, he stole a lot of bases without a doubt.
Yep.
He is averaging 76. No, that's
74.
How much? 34, right?
74 a season, yeah.
No, 48. 48 a season.
I'm looking at 162 game average, stolen bases 74.
No, that's not even over here where I see it.
Yeah, if you go down the bottom, it says 25 years, 162 game average.
Stolen bases. I'm on ESPN.
14, I'm on. You got to go to Baseball Reference. I'm on Baseball Reference. That's the best one.
So then maybe there's a discrepancy, but
yeah. So if you do 1,406 stolen bases divided by 25 years, it would give you a 74 stolen base average.
I got 48 here, but listen, he played for so long.
Sure, that's the problem.
That's what the problem is, and that's not even a problem. But I mean, look, 1 year, 130, 100, 108, 93. There's some big numbers, but then there's other years where we didn't play that many games. That's what dragged them down. You know, three years in a row, we played 44 with Toronto, 90 in Oakland, and then 87 the next year in Oakland. So, you know, he was a little fragile.
Yeah, I think to my dad's point, I think it was one of those things where if he wasn't in the mood to play, he just didn't play. And that's the shame of it. I think he wasted a few of his years. But when you go back and you watched, and we all got to watch Ricky Henderson in his prime. You were a big baseball fan, Jeff, at that time. My dad's always been a big baseball fan, and we got to see him full time in the Yankees during his prime. And to me, there was very few guys who had his ability. And to me, Dad, my thing that separated Ricky Henderson was his ability to steal bases was all based on that first step. His first step, he was already 100 miles an hour, and you couldn't throw him out whether you tried to pick him off or you pitched out. He was the best base stealer I ever saw.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that him bouncing around the league hurt his being as a player? Like, he was basically a journeyman.
Sure.
I mean, Oakland, the Yankees, back to Oakland, Toronto, San Diego, Anaheim, Oakland, the Mets, Seattle, San Diego, Boston, finishing up with the Dodgers.
Yep.
You know, he made his rounds around Major League Baseball.
Oh, there's no doubt.
He had a bad reputation, too, of whether it was true or not, I don't know, of taking medicine or whatever you want to call it. But for a guy with his talents to get bounced around like that, there's got to be a reason for it.
Of course.
And I think a lot of teams felt they'd rather not have him. Steinbrenner would take the devil himself if he could win a game, where a lot of teams don't want a guy like Henderson, don't need the aggravation. And I have to agree with him. And it was always, my hammy hurts as soon as I feel better. And
I laugh whenever I hear somebody say that because I remember that when it was in the paper, my hammy.
Yeah. Yeah, listen.
And he's still 1,000 miles an hour.
Yes, that's the truth. And again, I think there's a guy who early part of his career, listen, here's a guy who through his whole career used to talk about himself in the third person.
Right.
You know, he would get to first base and go, and you know, there's a funny story that Will Clark tells, but Will gets up there and Will says, "Hey, Ricky, what are you up to?" He goes, "Ricky gonna steal second base. Ricky gonna steal third base. Ricky might even steal home. I'll let you know what Ricky does." So that was Ricky Henderson, and like I said, it's a shame that he kind of wasted part of his career. I mean, if you look at those numbers. I mean, it's hard to say they're wasted, but to your guys' point, I mean, he's got years, 89 games, 113 games, 105. This is when he's 24 years old, 105 games, 78 games. I mean, the most games he ever played in a season. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong column. You know,
he had 158.
Yeah. 80. Yeah, he had a 153, a couple of 150. You know, but
152, 151.
Yeah,
121 with the Mets.
I'm trying to see what was his average?
106 games.
Yeah, his average for games.
That's not a lot.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
You look at Soto. What is it? 160 games a
think
year.
About it. He is all-time leader in runs scored, 2,295 stolen bases, also caught stealings. He got caught most by 335 times, but nobody stole bases like that. But listen, 510 triples, 66 doubles, almost 300 homers. 1,100 RBIs. This was a 7-time All-Star.
And then you could check your record. I think I may be wrong, but he holds the record for leadoff home runs in a game. 18, I think it is.
Yes, he has the lead. He has the record for leadoff home runs.
I don't remember the exact number.
I just realized, and I had to check for myself because I couldn't believe the number you said. Only 66 career triples.
Yes.
I figured somebody like him would have had a couple hundred triples.
You know what? Yeah, he again, one of those guys who never did the extra. So to me, I always watched Ricky. He was always cruising. So my brain was a kid, and even now when I think about it, it was, well, why take a chance on getting thrown out? I'll stop at second and just steal third. And that's.
Listen, he got himself around the bases without a doubt.
Yeah, he scored more runs than anybody.
So fast, maybe he even thought that way, that, you know what, this is just another way to pad my stats. I like doing this instead of running for a triple. I mean, you just think that by default, the guy would end up having, God knows how many hundreds of triples other than just 66 triples.
Understood.
That's what you call wasted talent.
Yeah,
really do. There's a lot of guys like that.
Yeah, and
his last year in the Major League Baseball was 2003, but he was playing well beyond that in other leagues.
Yes, he was playing with the Long Island Ducks. He was playing, all the independent leagues.
That had to hurt his stature. I mean, it's like Joe DiMaggio playing for the Ducks.
Yeah, I agree. But I think to Jeff's point, I think the amount of time he bounced around major leagues hurt his legacy. I mean, he had what, 3 different stops with Oakland? 1, 2,
3 or 4.
3, 4 times he was on Oakland's team. I mean, I think that ultimately hurts when you play 25 years and you've played on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams, and you're I mean, it says a lot, but it says a lot also to me that you couldn't stay anywhere very long. But listen, the guy won some trophies. He won an MVP. He's a Hall of Famer, and I think whenever we have those conversations about greatest teams, he's never on the list, right, Jeff? How many times have we done, starting nines and best outfielders and best?
I don't know if I want to say that is he overlooked, or is it just because, like, we know, like my hammy, like your dad said.
Yeah,
and his other stunts that he did, he wasn't reliable. So, when we talk about greatest teams and you think about some of the players that you picked on these teams, right? Maybe we stick too close to the safe line and you take your Babe Ruth and your Lou Gehrig. But the one thing about those guys, they didn't miss a lot of time.
No,
they played almost a whole year. Mm-hmm. Ricky Henderson was definitely somebody that never came close to playing the whole year.
No, and not regularly, at least, and I think that's part of the problem. But like I said, I've done lists with you, with Joey, with friends at work, and you go back and forth. And I would tell you, Ricky Henderson's never made my list. And I thinking back to it now, he passes away, and I go, wait a second, there's a guy who's one of the most talented players I've ever seen in my life, and that's the problem. There's that big but of. How much did he really play? How many years did he waste? How much bouncing around did he did? And it became kind of a joke kind of a thing. And I think that hurt his legacy. But the guy's a Hall of Famer. And
let me ask you a question then. Does he, now that we're talking about it, and of course you maybe you think a little bit differently, but he's definitely somebody that fell through the cracks.
Sure.
Is he somebody that you would want on a team? If you were fielding a team, is there a spot on your roster for him? Maybe not as a starter, but is there somebody on your roster?
Absolutely. To me, if I was going to rethink my team now, I would have to say Ricky Henderson almost has to be my left fielder and my leadoff hitter. He's the greatest leadoff hitter I've ever seen. I mean, I'm sure there's been better. Maybe this guy's from back, but from my baseball days of 1975, 76 forward, I've never seen a better leadoff hitter than Ricky Henderson. And he was a pretty good outfielder. I wouldn't say he was a great outfielder, but he was a pretty good outfielder. To me, Ricky Henderson has got to be on any team. Again, to your point, maybe not as a starter. I mean, he might not be the, but to me, if I was starting a baseball team off and somebody says you need a leadoff hitter, I'm drafting Ricky Henderson.
I agree.
There's nobody better. And the style of the game I like to play, where you're making the pitcher react and the catcher throw baseballs and everybody move around. Ricky Henderson was one of the most disruptive forces ever to play this game, ever.
I guess.
Hard to disagree, but it just goes to show you that no matter what you think of anybody that used to play the game, okay, it basically comes down to the same thing. People want to see a power hitter. They don't want to see a chess match.
No, you're right.
And that's why when we talk about these greatest teams of all time, that some of the names that we come up with, you're never going to get some guy that had a career of 50 home runs for his career and 112 RBIs, but he was the best second baseman that the world ever saw. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody cares about that.
Well, to get to what you're just saying, how many people can honestly say we could sit here for half hour, talk about Babe Ruth, but does anybody know what kind of a fielder he was? No, absolutely not. I mean, you can assume, you can guess. Somebody could say he was a decent, but you wouldn't put him in a category where he was the best home run. I mean, how many home run hitters with a lifetime batting average of 342? None. But yet, what kind of a fielder was he? Nobody knows.
Let me ask you something. When you talk about Babe Ruth, does it matter what kind of a fielder he was?
Not at all.
Because if he made an error and he gave up 2 runs, he was going to bat in 3 somewhere around the game.
Mystic. As you get older, they put a crown around you, and it's hard to get. It's like Michael Jordan. It's like anybody. They later on, as you talk about it, and he gets more popular as he is.
And they get better. They get better every year.
Every year they did things that.
Yeah. No,
he'd be missed. He was a good ball player. I give him that.
Yeah.
And Jeff, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna wish you and your family a happy New Year's. Say hello to everybody. Tommy, I'll see you, Jonah.
I'll see you tomorrow, Pops. I'll pop by tomorrow. I'm going to actually get myself out of the house tomorrow. I'll come see you.
Whatever.
We can take it back anyway.
Talk to you then.
You got it, Pops. Guys. See you later. That's my dad. Checks in every week. But it was nice. But again, Hard Rocket Sports, that's Jeff, and I'm Tom. We're every Thursday night. Next week's the big year-end show. Even though it'll be the new year, it'll be the new year / the year-end show.
Jeff, but you know what? It's better that way. It's better that way because then we don't have to amend the list, man.
True. We got caught last year.
It was last year or the year before. We had to amend it twice.
Yeah, last year I think the year before was Betty White and somebody else after we did the list. So
yeah. There was a couple people that snuck in.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Listen, this is so big that everybody wants to get on this list one way or another.
This is not a list anybody's rushing to get on, but eventually.
I don't know.
Well, we'll have ours next Thursday night. We'll start off the new year, January the 2nd, right here at the Hard Rocket Sports Show, and we'll bring a conclusion to 2024. We'll talk about some of the things we're grateful for and some of the things that were good about 2024 and some of the things that were not so good. I'll come up with a list of things. Jeff will come up with his list, and we'll entertain you for a few hours, and we'll
take a quick piss.
And then we got plenty more to talk about tonight, so hopefully you guys will stick around and hang out with us a little bit. I know it's the Christmas holiday, but hopefully you're out there watching and paying attention to what we got to say tonight and play along while you can. So I hope everybody had a good week, good Christmas. Let us know what you did, and of course, let us know what you're doing for New Year's. Does everybody go out anymore? I have to tell you, I have no desire to be out of the house on New Year's. We've turned it into a tradition of going out to dinner with my parents, and we hit a local establishment, a different one every year, which I will be making some reservations for. We'll do a nice early dinner, and then we go back to the house and hang for a little bit, and then we'll head home, and we'll throw on some TV, catch a couple of marathons, and a couple of cocktails, and then wind up asleep at or around midnight. So it's usually a quiet period now. I can't think of the last New Year's Eve I spent out of the house. It's got to be 10 years or better since that happened. I can't even remember the last time I spent the New Year's outside New Year's Eve outside of the house. Just not that important to me. Anyway, so again, we got the NFL playoffs. We'll go through the where the status of where everybody's at, who's in the playoffs. I'm bringing up my NFL.com. We'll go through the playoff scenario, see who's in, who's out. We got a few more things. Jeff, I do want to bring up a little Iron Maiden for you.
Please do.
So last week we spent a good part of the show talking about Nico McBrain and his retirement from Iron Maiden. And then Frank Catalano popped in with a rumor that Dave Murray may be retiring. Well, I will put that rumor to bed that Dave Murray is not retiring or considering retirement at this time. And yes, and I read a few articles. Spent a little time today reading through some articles from Dickinson and Steve Harris and Murray himself. But those two which I would consider the two main guys. And if Steve Harris called it a quits, there would be no more Iron Maiden. And I would say that if Bruce decided to hang it up, that should really be the end of Iron Maiden also, if you ask me my opinion, Jeff.
Should it? You really think so?
Yeah. I think at this point, I think Blaze Bayley was a great guy. He was a tremendous guy to the show. Came on our show 3 or 4 times. We had some laughs with Blaze Bayley. Good voice, but it's an era of Iron Maiden that was nondescript, had no feel for it. So to me, to start bringing in you bring in a new drummer, you kind of go, all right, he's in the back, he's playing the parts, but the next guy who would have to try to sing the Bruce Dickinson parts, it just wouldn't be the same. An Iron Maiden concert led by anybody other than Bruce Dickinson is not Iron Maiden to me, Jeff.
I wouldn't want to see it either, to be honest.
So to me, if Bruce walked away, had some health issues, whatever, I would be hard pressed for Maiden to see Maiden again. But having said that, both guys, both Bruce and Steve, on multiple platforms have come out and said they have no plan to retire. They're in their late 60s, 67, 68. In fact, Bruce said the best way for us to go out would be to all of us to...
How you doing, Rob? Merry Christmas to you, buddy.
Love there, Mr. Finelli. Would basically be to pass out and die on stage. So I don't believe that there is any plan for the Iron Maiden characters to retire. In fact, they're embarking starting in May of 25 on their 50th anniversary tour, which will see them hang in there a minute, Finelli. I'm getting to that one. So, Jeff, I would say we're safe for the next couple of years, barring any major health issues. We will be able to get to see Maiden on their 50th anniversary tour with the current group. With the new drummer.
I hope so. I just really hope that Yannick Gears decides to hang it the fuck up. That would be great.
Well, to me, yes, I would agree with you. I would love to see the twin guitar attack back. Yannick took a bit of a fall. I think you sent me the video.
I don't know how old that is, though.
I think that was recent, from what I gather, because I've gotten that from a couple people. I believe that's from one of the last shows they just did to finish up this tour.
Wow.
So.
Oh, listen, not that I want anything to happen to the guy, but I just wish that he would be like, he's getting tired and he'd rather stay at home and eat pudding and be in bed by 7 o'clock.
Well, I don't see it happening, but looks like we'll be. I would say next September-ish, we should be going to see Iron Maiden in at least one concert on their U.S. tour. So I think I'm looking forward to doing that. I hope you are. We'll see if we're making a crowd, but at the very least.
Now this is supposed to be the tour where they're gonna retire a few songs.
Well, yeah, I believe that that's what I had read also, that at some point they were going to retire some of these tunes. I did read that this is only material from the first album through No Prayer for the Dying. So it's only.
I sincerely hope that they're not going to use this tour to put down a lot of stuff from fucking somewhere in time, because I think I would walk the fuck out if that is the case.
Yeah, I did not. Listen, of course, I want to see the set list because, I'm assuming we're going to see some prehistoric Maiden. That's what I'm hoping for. I've seen them play some of the stuff. I want to see them play it again. If this turns into the last time I ever go to an Iron Maiden concert, that's fine. But I want to see prehistoric Maiden, which sounds like we're going to see now, which I am stoked for. So we'll keep the ears open. They're shutting it down now for a few months. They're taking a break, and they're going to come back with the new tour starting in, I think, Hungary in May. So we'll keep our ears open and go from there. We'll talk a little NFL now.
Was there any word on their score or tour schedule?
No, I did see the European tour schedule is out, but there's no North American tour schedule yet. So we'll have to keep our ears open for that one. Yeah, I assume based on what I saw, they finish up like a bunch of festivals. If I'm not mistaken, it was July and August. They usually take a little bit of a break, and I would think they'll come back in September. Usually they start in Florida, and they work their way up the coast and then across the country. So I would assume it's sometime in September, October of next year, we will get a Maiden North American tour. So
can only hope.
Yep, we'll see. But 50th anniversary. You're all welcome, Mr. Finelli. You're welcome to come with us, even though I know you're not a fan of the genre. Hopefully, I got to be honest with you. If it's more convenient for me to go to the PNC. I do hope it's at the Garden, because there's nothing better than seeing Iron Maiden in Madison Square Garden. That was the last time we went. Was it in PNC or was it the Garden?
Oh, it was in Newark.
It was in Newark, yeah. I don't know if I've seen Maiden at the Garden. I don't know about recently. Yeah, no, I did go with my wife. We saw a couple tours ago. We went, but anyway, we'll see how it plays out. To Mr. Finelli, okay, so let's get to the Giants and where we're headed. So looks like the Giants are going to have the top 1 or 2 picks in the draft. So Jeff, here's the question that everybody in New York sports, everybody on sports radio, everybody's debating. Do the Giants bring back Shane? Do they bring back Shane and Dable? Do they bring in a whole new set? And here's what I'm going to give you my official. This is what I want. Are you ready for it?
Go ahead.
Okay. I don't care at this point. I have no problem with them bringing back Shane and Dable. I don't. I also have no problem with them bringing in a new head coach and a new general manager. I have no problem keeping Joe Shane and bringing a new head coach in. I at this point, I really don't care, because nothing's worked for the last 10 years. The only thing I would say is this. What I don't want, if you're going to change the guys you got, is I don't want the next hot assistant coach. I don't want the next guy who's never been a head coach, who's never had a staff, who's never had a culture. If you want to know what I want Tom Coughlin to come back and be president of football operations and whip this place into shape. I think Shane and Dable were given 5-year contracts for a reason, because they needed time to build this thing. And unfortunately for them, first year out, they made the playoffs 9-7, won a playoff game, and everybody thought, bam, we got it. We're taking off now. And it just steamrolled into shit. Now, you can't go from 9 wins to 6 wins to 2 wins and think about keeping your job either. So, but I think there's a lot of work to be done. And I think Dable's a good X's and O's coach. And Shane has his last draft class. This last one is really, so far, been really good. Before that, I don't know. But if you're asking me, bring me back the same guys. Tom Coughlin's my president of operations, and let's go. Go ahead.
First of all, I don't even know how anybody in their right mind would even say that they would consider Brian Dable coming back.
Why?
Why? Because the guy went from bad and just kept going down like he was trying to hit rock bottom. He's 14 games under 500 right now as we speak. Okay, I understand that there's some things that have happened, but the team has gotten worse every year. And what started off with definitely going in the right direction with a playoff berth and, even winning a game in the playoffs. He's just, I mean, God, they haven't done anything in free agency. Most of their draft picks haven't worked out as planned. I mean, they've gotten a couple, but I mean, listen, part of the problem is nobody's allowed to build a team.
Right. And that's the point. Yes.
They came out and they said, this is going to hurt, but by year 3, year 4, you're going to see we're going in the right direction, which they never have. Okay. Nobody has. And nobody has that kind of time. Nobody's given that kind of time. These guys went out, started off with a playoff contender, and then it's like somebody ripped the carpet out from underneath them, and they just tried nothing to get it right. That their offensive line is bad. That there's a lot of problems. Barkley, I would have done the same thing with Barkley, although I wouldn't have thrown the money at that quarterback that we did. I even forget his name. What's his name? Daniel Jones. I wouldn't have thrown that kind of money at him, but I wouldn't have tried to go after Saquon Barkley for the money he was looking for. The guy's having a great season, yeah, but the bottom could fall out on him any second.
He wouldn't have had that season with the Giants. Let's be honest. If they would have paid him $13.5 million a year,
their offensive line is completely different, man.
Correct. It's a different team. You're right. So the Giants paying him and keeping him, that would not have worked out the same way as it has with the Eagles. Just wouldn't.
No.
So I agree. The problem I have is, Jeff, and here's the thing. So if Dable comes out year 1 and wins 3 or 4 games, wins 6 last year, wins 4 this year, you're saying, all right, they're building, they got some pieces, maybe that things are getting better. It all got upset. The apple cart got turned upside down because the first year they went out and won 9 games. He's coach of the year. They win a playoff game against a number 1 NFC seed on the road, and now, the issues have manifested. Now the roster's terrible. And listen, I agree with everything you said. Don't get me wrong. But at some point, I can't bring in the next Dable. I can't bring in the next big-time assistant who's never done it, because I don't want to wait 3 years to find out that he can't coach. So to me, if you're going to go bring in a John Gruden or a Vrabel or somebody of that ilk who's coached before and had success, I'm in. But if I'm going to get the next hot assistant, I don't want to do it. Hey, what's up, Paul?
Tom, not for nothing. I understand your point, but something, listen, sometimes you capture lightning in a bottle, and I understand your point, but look at it this way. You're in year 3 with Dable, and it's gotten worse every year.
I'm with you.
I mean, and this is coming from a Jet fan. Right now, the Jets, they're pretty awful too. They may even be worse than the Giants on some levels, but bottom line is the Giants right now are going to be picking first in the draft, and they're going to have a lot to think about going into that draft. And you got a coach that, do you really want him there to make or be part of the process and pick whoever it is that they pick? Do you want that? Like, it's almost like it's a tainted leadership at this point.
I'm not disagreeing. Now, again, to Finelli, to your point, I got you. Let me ask you this, Finelli. What if he's gotten every bit of ounce of talent that these guys have? Maybe it's just not a talented roster. So while I agree with you that, coaches need to maximize the players and their abilities, and the guys that shouldn't coach or manage, I'm with you. What if this is the best he could get out of these guys? What if this is all they have? Now, I think he's done a bad job with a few things. I can throw it out there. I give you about 5 things off the top of my head that I would tell you that Brian Dable's done a bad job with this year. I think he handled the Daniel Jones situation terribly, playing Drew Lock and back and forth.
Wait right there. We got to talk about these things as you go on. You can't just throw them out there and then go away.
Okay.
You were in a bad situation quarterback-wise.
Yeah.
Okay. You had Daniel Jones, who should have never been signed to the contract he was signed to, but they thought that they had something there, so you can't really blame them. A lot of teams do that.
Sure.
I just don't think that they've seen. I'm not going to say they didn't see him enough of him. I don't think that they experienced enough of him on a level that they should have said, okay, this is our man. That's one thing, okay? That I'll say. Second, when you had Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito as your backups, your second and third stringer on the team, do you really think, okay, I understand why they ended up getting rid of Daniel Jones. They had no choice because they didn't want to get stuck with the possibility
injury waiver. Yeah, sure.
Get injured. I understand that. Who are you going to replace him with? If you had a better situation and a better option at quarterback, wouldn't he have been playing before Daniel Jones to say anything? You know what I mean?
Sure, absolutely.
Like, I just don't think that those two guys are NFL caliber quarterbacks. I mean,
I watched both of them play. You're 100% right now.
Tommy DeVito got hurt, and that was it. Is the guy even on the fucking team?
He's there. He played. He's injured. He didn't play. I don't know. That's again one of the situations where I think Dable's done a bad job with this, the way he's handled the quarterbacks end of this year. So, if you're asking me, that is something I think he's done a bad job. I also think that there's been a couple of guys on this team who haven't played hard, who have shied away from tackles. Deonte Banks has done a terrible job, and I think Dable's done a terrible job not disciplining this team and pushing some of these guys who don't want to play out. And I think that's a bad job by him. But again, I can give you 5 reasons. At the end of the day, I just can't deal with the next assistant coach who's never run an organization before. I want Tom Coughlin, and this wasn't my idea. Somebody gave me this one, and I was like, this is a great idea. I would have loved to have this be Belichick. Put him at the top. Just let him come in and change the organization. I don't want him to be the GM. I don't want him to pick players. I don't even want him to coach necessarily. I want them to just fix the organization and get us in the right position to bring the right people in, to draft the right players and move and take it from there. Jeff, I just can't deal with the next Adam Gase or Pat Shermer or Joe Judge. And then 2 or 3 years, we're doing this all over again. I need some stability. And I also don't think it's fair that Shane and Dable got 3 years again after we've had 10 years of futility and said, oh, you got 3 years to fix this. I think at some point you got to stick with it. And if you thought they could coach 3 years ago, I don't think anything's changed. I think you just haven't seen the talent level get better on the Giants. And maybe you want to blame Joe Shane more than we want to blame Dable at this point.
Well, while we've all said this many times before on this show that the coach can only coach the players that he's given.
Correct.
So you are onto something there. Maybe Shane is the one that should have to
but the problem is,
explain himself for this.
Correct. And I think that's a big part of it. The problem is you can't fire Shane and keep Dable and do the old bring in a new general manager who is forced to keep Dable. You just can't do it. That's the recipe for disaster.
Well, listen,
We've seen that happen too many times.
Yeah, both New York teams are beyond the recipe for disaster.
Yeah,
both
absolutely.
Yeah, there's nothing good to be said about either team. And I mean, God, you couldn't put one team together using the fucking both of these teams, man. They're so bad. I
couldn't agree with you more. And it's a shame. I mean, I would say, listen, I think, and a lot of people thought that the Jets had a chance not only to make the playoffs this year, but to make a run and maybe make a Super Bowl run, and it hasn't worked out. And they've had offensive line problems. The defense wasn't great. Obviously, there was a problem on the quarterback situation. It just didn't work. Now, where does it go from here? They've already fired the coach and the general manager. They're obviously going to clean house. And I would say the same thing for the New York Jets. You can't bring in the next, run-of-the-mill free assistant coach. You need to bring in somebody who's done it before. Go get a Pete Carroll or get Vrabel or Gruden.
Pete Carroll was just listed as wanting to go to somebody else.
Yeah, the Bears. Supposedly he's hot for the Bears job. Yeah, he's hot for the Bears job.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm seeing Mike Vrabel's interested in coaching the Patriots. I didn't realize the Patriots were looking to get rid of Gerard Mayo already. That's pretty interesting.
Maybe he's thrown his hat in the ring to see a way when some of these teams are looking for people, he could just be like, not interested.
Yeah, I guess so. Interesting. Yeah, but again, I think for both teams, the key is to bring in somebody who's done it before. Now, there's not a lot of guys. I got to be honest with you. There's not a big list of people out there that you can reach for that have been successful head coaches and are looking for work right now. I mean, there's not an Andy Reid floating around. There's not, a lot of these guys floating around out there that are looking for teams at the moment. So it's a tough thing. But right now, if you're the Jets or you're the Giants and you're their ownership, you need to come back and find somebody who's done it before. And yes, there's a Giant roster. I would clean house. There is 15 guys on the Giants that I would say they need to come back, and the rest of them you could just dump them, dumpster fire it, whatever you can do. There's more 3/4 of this team I wouldn't even bring back, Jeff. I to be honest with you, it's painful to watch, but I watch every week. Every Sunday, I'm in front of the TV watching this team play.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, dude. I have not
doing it my whole life.
I watched them a couple of weeks ago. I was like, they're worse than I thought, man. They are worse than I thought.
Oh yeah, listen, there is no doubt. There's nothing redeeming. But again, here's the problem I have with the Giants. Why am I watching Drew Lock play every week? Why am I subjected to Drew Lock? He is terrible.
Because who are they right now?
Play Tommy DeVito. I'd rather see DeVito play. I agree with you. He's probably not a pure pro quarterback, and that's fine. I would just rather see it. I already know Drew Lock stinks. I already know he stinks. I'm not sure yet if Tommy DeVito stinks. I'm pretty sure I know, but I don't really know. I know Drew Lock stinks. I know he does. So I want to see Tommy DeVito play so I can at least confirm my suspicions one way or the other.
Well, he is pretty bad, man. I mean,
don't forget Tommy DeVito went 3-3 last year. I mean, that doesn't sound like much, but it's better than most guys did last year. So
Tommy DeVito won more games last year than that team is winning right now this year by themselves. I just think that last year he had an overall better team.
Yeah, and I would say this: if you ask me what I want to see on the field for the Giants next year, here's what I would want. Go find a way to sign Kirk Cousins for 2 or 3 years. Then take your number 1 draft pick and get the best player that you can get your hands on, whether it's Travis Hunter, whether it's an offensive lineman or a defensive back. Go get me the best player available or trade down, get a few more picks, and build this roster. And a couple of years from now, when you got a better chance to draft a quarterback, or if you could grab a Quinn Ewers in the second round, or if you could grab one of these other kids in the second round, I'm in. But to grab Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders at number 1 and realize that they suck and they're not going to be the big draft picks, I think it's to go get a veteran quarterback and let's get better everywhere else and maybe put a team on the field with a solid coaching staff. So that's my prayer for the Giants for next year. Now, the Jets are in a little different situation. Are they bringing back Rodgers? Are they not bringing back Rodgers? Does he want to come back?
If they bring back Rodgers, they're going to lose so much of the fan base. It's scary. It's absolutely fucking scary. Did you see what Rodgers said? Now
I have. Which one though? There's been a few. What's
yeah? I know that's the problem. That there's been a few. That's not the answer that we want to hear, but that's the answer that you gave. So anyway, long story short, he turns around and they ask him, are you coming back next year? And he says, well, maybe you should ask Woody that. But they're asking you, like, are you coming back? Do you want to play next year?
Yeah,
are you interested in being on this team next year? Yeah. And like to give an answer like that to me is just fucking stupid. I just think that's so stupid.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's a legit question. Regardless whether the Jets want you back, you have the ability at 41 years old now to walk away from the game. You don't need the money. So do you want to come back is the first question. Do you no matter how you look at this team's going to be in a rebuild next year. Now, can they be better? Sure, they can be better. But to me, he's been at best an average quarterback. Do we really believe that another offseason, another year on the calendar, that he's going to find, the miracle elixir and be back to Aaron Rodgers? No, he's going to be worse next year.
Not.
Right.
Of course not.
So,
I don't, as a Jet fan, I do not want to see Aaron Rodgers back on the Jets. I do not want to see it. I just do not want to see it.
The problem is, I think to your point, I think he'd prefer if he got cut and they just gave him the $36 million and he didn't have to come back anymore, which I don't believe is going to happen.
Imagine getting paid $36 million from the team that you're on and you're not playing.
Right.
Exactly. And then maybe you somebody else is going to sign you for dirt, and you're going to be like, well, okay, and then you're going to go play for some other team, and I don't know. I just hope he doesn't I would love to see him retire.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to go out this way. I don't think he's going to walk away from the money. Now the question is, I think that the Jets. I think the worst case scenario is he's going to be the backup quarterback for the Jets next year. He'll be like the Kurt Warner year for Eli. He'll start the year off. The Jets will be at mediocre or at best, and then they'll make a switch to some rookie quarterback that they drafted. He'll be pissed off. He may not show up. He'll get docked a few dollars, and then he'll go away. But I don't see him retiring or quitting. And I don't see the Jets eating the money. It just doesn't make any sense. He'll be the backup quarterback next year at the worst case scenario, carrying the clipboard.
I don't know. Do you actually see him, of all people, deciding to step down and okay, I'll be the I'm going to be the backup, like willingly take that position?
No,
I don't know about that.
No, I don't think willingly. No, but he might not have a choice because it comes down to he'd have to quit or ask to be released. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Like if the Jets drafted a number one, let's say they got the number 7, 8, 9 pick, and they draft a quarterback. Let's say somebody falls down, Quinn Ewers, Cam Ward, somebody winds up down that far, and they grab him and they say, he's our guy, and Rodgers is going to be the mentor and carry the clipboard next year. He doesn't have many options if he wants the money. Now, I don't know if he quits. If he asks to be released, how that all works, I don't know. I don't know how that if he asks to be traded, who's taking on that $36 million contract from him next year? I don't know anybody. The way he played this year,
I don't think anybody would take it from him.
Yeah, so I think he's in a tough spot. The Jets are in a tough spot because you're already talking about running it back next year with him, but now you're bringing in a new coach, a new GM, and they're kind of stuck with him and his money for at least a year.
Yeah, if not more.
Yeah, so it's a very tough spot. I mean, you got Garrett Wilson basically saying he wants out now, he wants to leave. Which, to be honest with you, I would put him and Sauce Gardner in the same car and point them in the right direction, give them a shove, because their attitude is just horrendous.
Well, let me ask you something. Garrett Wilson, he's one of the better young receivers in the league.
Sure.
Okay. What has the team done around him? They can't even get a quarterback.
Nope.
I don't blame him. You've watched this. Look at Jet history. Jet history has shown that it ain't getting any better anytime soon.
No, no. The years of listening to all we need is a quarterback just kind of went out the window the last couple of years. All we need is a quarterback. Yeah.
You realize the last quarterback that they had, right? That was anywhere near good, that did anything for them, was Mark Sanchez.
I guess, yeah. It was Fitzpatrick after that. Because you could say at least Fitzpatrick had a good run. But you're right. Sanchez took him to 2 AFC Championship games, so he would have to be the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see.
And he ran his ass right out of town, which rightfully so. They ran his ass out of town, but that was rightfully so.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so, because he wasn't
without him.
No, I agree, but he wasn't taking the team to the next level. He wasn't making the effort that he needed to make at that time. So I don't have a problem with what they did. I mean, listen, I think there's a huge problem the good thing is I haven't heard Rex's name being banted around to be brought back. So hopefully that's not going to happen. So
well, I don't see that right now. I don't even know how old Rex Ryan is. Is he going to be too old? Do you want somebody like Rex Ryan as the Jet quarterback? I mean, Jet coach. I don't think I would want it.
The one thing I say is the one thing I would say about Rex is he at least wants the job. I mean, he can't be more right out in the open. I want the job. I want to coach the Jets. I can win with this team. So I'll give him credit. He at least wants the job. Now, does anybody want to give him the job? That's a different story. I wouldn't, but I don't think
does he want the job, or is he just saying that he wants the job to see a way he could fucking run his mouth when he doesn't get the job?
Hard to say, Jeff. Hard to give you that answer. I don't know what's in his head. I just know that he took a team that was going to the AFC Championship game 2 years in a row, dismantled it, couldn't put it back together, went to Buffalo, had no success there, and has been out of football other than being an announcer since. So to me, I would not necessarily be rushing to bring him back, but we'll see. It's going to be an interesting offseason for both teams.
That never even made the sidelines of another team.
No, not a defensive coordinator, not as a head coach. To me, I would have expected him to jump back in to be a defensive coordinator. Now, don't forget, this is a guy who built his reputation as a defensive coordinator on one of the best defenses of all time with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and that whole crowd. So, how much was it him? How much was with all that ability? Hard to say, but he should get credit for for their success. He was their immediate coach, and that's the way it works. So, I just say it's going to be an interesting offseason for both teams. I hope that both teams take my advice and bring in a legitimate NFL head coach, a guy who's knows how to do it, and is not the next assistant coach who's had a couple good years. It just we've seen it both ways for the Jets. The best offensive guy, Adam Gase, did nothing. They got Robert Saleh, one of the better defensive coordinators in the league, and that did nothing. Let's get a legit coach in here and see.
Well, Adam Gase. What did Adam Gase do before he got to the Jets? He did nothing.
Well, he was Peyton Manning's offensive coordinator. So again, chicken and the egg.
Since then,
nothing. No, listen.
Nothing. So I got a feeling, and I may be wrong, but I got a feeling that if I was at a Peyton Manning's offensive coordinator, people would be knocking on my door and offering me a job.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm
that's just me saying that, which doesn't necessarily mean I'm right, but it doesn't mean that I'm wrong.
I'm with you. I wouldn't argue it. Again, same thing like I talked about with Rex. He was a great defensive coordinator, but look at the team that he was the defensive coordinator for. I think I could have called plays for that defense and did well. So yeah, again, I think it's going to be interesting, and we'll see how it plays off in the off season. And we'll keep you updated. We're going to go through the NFL. We're going to go. I got a Kiss thing here. I did stumble on a new Christmas movie. So my goal this my 2 weeks, Jeff, was to try to find a new yearly Christmas movie to become a tradition in the Florio house. We got the new kid. So I wanted to kind of find a new movie. I got my standards. We got all. I watched Miracle on 34th Street. I watched a bunch of the animated movies, but I've tried to watch Elf and I can't do it. I've tried. It's just too retarded. Have you watched Elf?
Ferrell's an asshole.
Yeah. So I have a hard time. I had a hard time. I couldn't get through it.
That's what you're going to say about that is Will Ferrell's an asshole.
So I did find one, and I was able to sit through the whole movie. Have you ever watched the movie Fred Claus?
No.
Okay. So Fred Claus stars Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti plays Santa Claus. And the premises are going. Fred Claus is Santa's older brother, and the whole sibling rivalry and this and that. Good, solid movie. Good, solid Christmas movie. Special effects are pretty cool. They got Ludacris is somehow the dwarf DJ. A couple of like the animation, the special effects are pretty cool, and there's some funny lines, and it's a good solid watch. You watch it and you go, I didn't waste my time, but I didn't get that I got to watch this every year feeling. So there's a couple of more I got to try. I've never watched the Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen.
No, neither did I. I don't watch that stuff, man. I just can't be bothered with that. That to me, none of that is Christmas.
Again, I don't know if it is or isn't because I've never seen it. So I've got this long break. I've watched. I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of TV till last night and today. So, but I did get to watch Fred Claus. I DVR'd it so I can cut through the bullshit. So I'm on to the next one now. I'm gonna do. There's a couple more. Again, the Santa Claus. There's another one called the Santa Chronicles with Kurt Russell. There's a few of them out there. I'm going to check, and next week I will report if there are any worth watching. But there's every generation has their classics. There's The Miracle on 34th Street. It's a Wonderful Life. Obviously, Charlie Brown. There's stuff out there. Maybe there's something new for the new generation. Elf just isn't it for me. I tried. I watched that moron, and the fact that James Caan's in it really blows my mind. But it's definitely one of the worst movies I've ever watched.
There's a lot of people that like Will Ferrell. I don't know why, but okay.
To me, it's the same character every time. Don't matter.
Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah, and it gets annoying. The same thing with to a lot of the Adam Sandler movies. The only Adam Sandler movie I would tell you I loved, Happy Gilmore's not bad. I don't know if you saw that. It's actually a decent movie.
That's with Bob Barker, right?
Yes. That one that's got some moments in it. And the one I do love is the first Grown Ups movie. If you ever get a chance to watch Grown Ups, I don't know if you've seen it yet.
No.
It's him and Chris Rock and there's a bunch of them that are actual friends, and it's one of those movies that like you watch it and then you say, wow, that's pretty cool. I wish that was me and my friends. And it's about all these guys who grew up together getting together for a 4th of July weekend in their old town. They stay in a house with all their kids and wives, and they try to make it to where the kids get close. It's actually a pretty good premise and a good movie. So if you ever get a chance to watch Grown Ups, it's worth the thing. But Will Ferrell, Adam Sandler movies, it's all the same shit. It's just the same character over and over, and it gets a little tiring.
Like Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey to a certain extent. Some of Jim Carrey's early stuff was good.
Come on, man.
But most of which is not. So, but just figure that throw out there. But Fred Claus, if you're looking to kill a couple hours, watch a decent movie. Vince Vaughn's pretty good. The premise is good, but it's just it doesn't turn into a Christmas classic. If you guys got a Christmas classic out there, a modern day Christmas classic, I'm looking for one. Like I said, with the new grandkid, I'm looking to kind of start some traditions, and we're looking for a yearly let's get together, watch that movie as a family thing. And
there is one.
Which one?
That I do know of that I just saw. I didn't watch the movie.
Go ahead.
I just saw it the other day, and I'm actually happy that you brought this up because I'm going to send you. I just have to crop this picture first because I want to send you the thing. Okay. And this is a verified scene in the movie.
Okay.
And it is depicts Christmas.
Oh boy!
So I just sent it to you.
Oh boy! I got a feeling I'm not going to want to look at this.
No. It's all good. It's all good.
Where did you send me this? In what shot? Huh?
Text message on your phone.
Oh, my phone's inside, so I'll have to take a look at it later. Unfortunately.
You got to look at it now because you want me to send it to you on Messenger or something?
Can you can't put it on the chat, right? So that's out. No. I guess Messenger, it would probably be the easiest and best way to do it.
Okay, so let me. Okay. All right, it has been sent.
Rambo First Blood. I'm sorry, my phone is here. and it was on the back of my TV, back of my screen.
Well, if you look in the background of that scene.
Christmas tree. See, that's interesting. See, the problem I have with Rambo is not a Christmas movie because
it's hard to say it's not.
It's not. Okay. So the theme of the movie's got to be built around Christmas, and Rambo is not built around Christmas. Now, Die Hard, it was visiting.
Die Hard is one mention of Christmas.
Sure, it is,
and it wasn't throughout the whole thing.
Sure,
I see no reason why Rambo First Blood can't be considered a Christmas movie.
No, it's not.
There's clearly a Christmas tree in the movie.
Die Hard, he's on a plane going to Los Angeles for Christmas to spend with his kids and his ex-wife. He goes to her Christmas party. There's Christmas trees everywhere. The party is interrupted by terrorists at the Christmas party on Christmas Eve. It's a Christmas movie. The Rambo, great movie. Did you see the last Rambo by any chance? The most recent one? The last one was pretty good. A couple of them were kind of shitty. The last one, and now they're coming out with the new Cobra. Do you remember that Marion Cobretti?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he's got a new one of those coming out. I've turned into a very big Sylvester Stallone fan recently. I always liked this stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I've become a big fan. I'm gonna say for me, I do not consider Rambo, even though there's a Christmas tree in it, to be a Christmas movie. I can't do it.
That's wrong.
Now again, I will be looking for. I am looking for the legitimate Christmas movie that I could sit my grandson down with and watch with him every year. Besides the norm, but before I get off of Christmas, I did get some cool gifts. Now I did say to you that there wasn't anything major, but my son knows that I've recently started to collect certain things, certain signed memorabilia or things tied to big points in my life.
Okay.
So, like big sporting events, like the 1980 hockey victory. I'm looking to collect something from that with a whole bunch of signatures on it.
Okay.
Spinal Tap. I have some memorabilia now. I'm looking for something specific. So I'm going to have a wall dedicated to big moments in my life. Giants' first Super Bowl, first Yankee World Series that I saw. There are a bunch of things that I've written on a piece of paper that I said I'm going to collect some sort of memorabilia from it, have it framed, and have a wall that wall will kind of be reflective of my life and the things that are and big moments. And it could be a movie, could be, again, sporting events, whatever. So one of the things I talked about, and probably one of the biggest events for me, was WrestleMania 3.
Okay.
So my son actually went online and got me the official program from WrestleMania 3.
Nice.
A ticket stub from WrestleMania 3.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. And I got an official Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 3 shirt. Now, I don't know if this is vintage from then. I don't think so. But so just so everybody knows, I'm on the lookout. Starting January 1st, I'm making a big effort to find and track down big memorabilia because that to me is synonymous with my time in the 80s with friendships with like yourself and the guys we're going to be with on Monday as really a great time in my life. And to me, that is representative of that time, being in your house watching that match with Hulk Hogan and the Iron Sheik, being in my parents' basement on Cuba Avenue watching WrestleMania 3 together, all of that. So
good times, without a doubt.
Yes, so that's what it represents to me. So to me, I have a bunch of those things that represent big parts of my life, and I want to thank my son for doing the research and paying attention and finding that stuff for me. So
That's nice. I already dropped hints for next year.
You did. You're already dropping hints around the house?
I might as well, right?
What the hell? It can always just, all it can do is be ignored, Jeff. That's all it can do. It's at the very least.
I got some cool stuff too, but anything I asked my wife for, she got me, so I can't complain.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I didn't ask for anything. My wife got me a pretty cool target shooting game. It's a laser target thing for the house, which I really I'm going to work on this weekend to get it set up and work. And that, and a couple of a lot of colognes and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty good year. I no complaints. Family's healthy. Everybody was together. We had a bunch of good laughs on Christmas Eve, and yesterday at the house was nice. So I'm a thrilled guy, and I got 2 weeks vacation right now, so I'm really happy.
Nice.
So, but all right. So let's see what else we got on the list for tonight. It's 8:30. Again, don't forget, guys, come back next week. We'll do the year-end show, the dead list, and we'll do our look aheads to next year and what the good and bad from this year. What was great about this year? What was bad about this year? We'll get to all of that. We'll do a little bit of Ranger stuff. I got one for you real quick.
You know what? I just got to grab a drink of water, dude. My mouth is like paste right now. I'll be right back.
Go do your thing. So again, guys, stick around. We got a little more to do. What'd you guys think of Yankees signing Paul Goldschmidt? I would tell you that it did Cashman. Listen, signing Soto would have been great. But I wouldn't have solved all the problems. Again, the Mets a better team than the Yankees right now? They are not a better team than the Yankees right now. Soto is a great player. There's no doubt. Did Juan Soto sign with the Mets and they are now the team to beat in the National League? No. I don't think they're certainly not better than the Dodgers. I don't think they're better than a healthy Atlanta Braves team. I am not sure they're better than the Phillies. The Mets are, at best, the second or third best team in the National League, could be as much as the fourth or fifth best team in the National League. Juan Soto's a really good player. Don't get me wrong. He makes them better. He has not won a World Series since his rookie year. He got to the World Series this year because the guy who hit right behind him hit 58 home runs by the name of Aaron Judge. The Mets don't have Aaron Judge or anybody like him. The Mets will be a better team. They will challenge for their division. They will make the playoffs. They can do some damage. The Mets, as currently built, will not win the World Series. And you can have Juan Soto win a $700, $800 million contract. It's fine. I like what the Yankees have done. Is it going to automatically mean they're going to win? No. Are they better on paper? And yes, the Yankees are a better team. Getting rid of Gleyber Torres is better. Paul Goldschmidt stays healthy. He's better at first than Rizzo is right now. Max Fried makes the rotation better. Devin Williams makes the bullpen better. Getting rid of Clay Holmes. We lost 13 games because of Clay Holmes as our closer last year. The Yankees are a better team. The Mets right now are a better team right now. Are the Mets the best team in the National League? No, not even close. They're not the best team in New York. So sit tight. It's going to be an interesting. I don't know if both teams are done. There's still a couple of players out there to be had, but one of them being Pete Alonso. But Pete Alonso on the Mets is not making the Mets a better team. They're just not right now. So, all right, let's get back to it. We got about a half hour left. I want to
I want to comment on something you said. I've been meaning to do it for a couple of weeks, and I forgot.
Go ahead.
That is Juan Soto.
Go ahead.
And I just want to give my 2 cents and see what you think of this. I don't think the Yankees lost anything with Juan Soto, and I'll tell you why. Even though he's a great player and he's young and like you couldn't ask for much more at this point in time of his career.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my thing with Juan Soto.
Sure.
Here's a guy that was just in the World Series.
Yep.
Just in the World Series with the Yankees, and he left to go to the Mets for $5 million more.
Yep.
Now, I understand $5 million is $5 million. That's a lot of money, without a doubt. But do you think, as a player, that you would have went for the $5 million extra instead of going to the Yankees, staying with the Yankees, and going back to possibly to the World Series?
As a player for myself, I'd say no because I'm a Yankee fan. I'm biased by it. But when I watch Soto and Jeff, I agree with you. What Soto said was he's been watching the Mets from afar for the last couple of years, and he thinks they have a better chance in the future than the Yankees. And I say, how do you see that? 2 years ago, they were one of the worst teams in baseball. Last year, the first 3 months of the season, they were one of the worst teams in baseball. And they put it together for 3 months or 4 months, and they still fell short of the World Series. The Yankees are in the playoffs nearly every single season. Juan Soto went to the Mets because they offered $1 more than the Yankees. And that's the bottom line.
Basically, yeah. That I totally agree. When you're talking about the money that he got and walked away with, $5 million is not that much money. For us, that's a lifetime of
sure,
work.
Of course. Listen, to me, you hand me $5 million right now, I can retire tomorrow. I'm done. Days are over. I don't have to go to work no more. Juan Soto, and again, if is a luxury box and all that stuff that made it, maybe there's been a lot of rumors and stuff that Major League, the Players Association told him, hey, you're going to take every nickel, the highest offer. You don't leave a nickel on the table. And I think that's what he did. There's other things. Could it be that he wants to be the man and have an Aaron Judge there? He's not the man. I have no idea. He took the most money and went with it. That's it. Because you're not going to tell me that you can look up and say that Mets have a better chance of being better the next few years than the Yankees. It just doesn't make any sense to me. There's no rational reason that I should believe that because it's not happened. I'm not saying the Mets won't be a good team, but to me, the Mets are not better today than the Dodgers or the Braves. The Braves healthy, they're not better than the Mets. They're not. So,
well, listen, I understand, and here's some way to look at it too. Soto saw the Dodgers more often when he played the Padres in the National League than he saw of the Dodgers playing with the Yankees.
Yeah,
and evidently the Dodgers are the best team in baseball as of right now. They proved that. They won the World Series. Uh-huh. But I myself would have rather have signed with a team that is already at the World Series and with the possibility of getting back to a World Series than to worry about, a few dollars more, which he puts that money in the bank the right way. He's going to make more than $5 million.
Yeah, listen, it's all talk. And I get it. You got to say the right things. And to Joe Cloak's point, if he went there because they gave him a luxury box, for $800 million, buy your own goddamn luxury box. Why do you need to be given a luxury box? No Yankee has been given one. Jeter paid for his box. So does Aaron Judge. The Yankees just don't do it. They make it a practice that players have to pay for their own. And when you make it, $40 million a year, you can pay for a box. So to me, Juan Soto went to the Mets because they offered him $1 more than anybody else did. And that's where he was going to go. Now, if that was $1 more on a West Coast team or Toronto, he would have been a Yankee. But because the Mets play in the same town, the Mets kissed his family's ass. He went there. Good for the Mets. It's a good signing, as long as Uncle Steve is going to keep signing players. But to me, the Yankees right now are still a better team. Max Fried is a better player than any pitcher the Mets have right now. Devin Williams is a better closer than anybody that's on the Mets right now. Aaron Judge is a better player than anybody in the Mets right now. Garrett Cole's a better. The Yankees have 4 or 5 players who are better than anybody that's on the Mets. That's not to say the Mets won't be a good team. The Mets are not better than the Yankees. It's just at this moment. That's all you can say. On paper, of course.
I would be more worried that Soto was showing himself to be more of a money player than a team player. If he went back with the Yankees, and once again, I understand these guys and these salaries, $5 million is really not that much. It's of course it's a lifetime of money for us,
sure,
because we're just regular peons.
Sure,
but these guys here that are making that kind of money, I would have rather have gone with this more successful team. But that's me thinking the way that I think. I don't know. I would like to think that there's still guys out there that play the game to win a trophy. You're already getting you're getting more than a lifetime of money. Your great kids won't have to fucking work with the money that you're making.
Sure.
If you put it someplace and you just be like, make it grow, so that, like, everybody after me never ever has to fucking work in my family. That's it.
Yeah, Fidelity, to you, I'm going to say to Yankees are all hype. Let me go back for you for since 2010. Here's the Yankee win total since 2010, the last 14 years. 95 wins, 97 wins, 95 wins, 85, 84, 87, 84 wins in 2016, 91, 100, 103. I'm not going to count the COVID year. 92, 99, 82, and 94. The Yankees have not had a losing season since 1992, I believe. They have made the playoffs most years. I think it's been 2 out of the last 10. The Yankees are not all hype. Now, I'm not saying the Yankees are a World Series team. I don't think they are. They still have a bad makeup to win big games because they don't hit consistently as a team, especially in the playoffs. Their approach sucks. But the Yankees are not. I guess it's all past history. I got you. But history is reflective. And when you've been doing something this well for 30 years, 32 to be exact, there's a chemistry, and then there's what I love for the Giants or the Jets or even the Rangers to have. And that is you have a culture of winning and how you build that. So the Yankees right now are if the Yankees right now, if I look at their team, they are better than they were last year. And that's without Soto, because they were so weak in a couple spots that they fixed. First base is fixed. Goldschmidt should be better if he's healthy, which he's better than what they've had at first base. Devin Williams is a better closer than they've had for the last few years.
But now see Goldschmidt, that's somebody that's on his way out.
He's 37 years old. I mean, it's not like 2 years. He won an MVP in 2022. It's not like his ancient history. I'm not saying I'm expecting him to win an MVP, but if I can get 20, 25 homers, solid play at first base, and drive in 60, 70, 80 runs, it's better than we got at first base last year. Torres is gone.
See, I'm going also by my fucking baseball game that I play over here.
Right.
I just had what's his face? Vladimir Guerrero Jr. As my first baseman for like the last 10 seasons. And not for nothing, the Yankees have won the World Series like 12 years in a row.
Yeah. I understand it. All I'm telling you is, okay, so Phil, if you say the Mets have a team culture, well, how many World Series have they won? So I got you. I'm telling you that baseball is a collection of individual players who come together and win as a team. So
Robert, I got to ask you a question, man. You're saying they don't play as a team. Who, the Yankees? That's a pretty successful last 10, 14 years, whatever it was that Tommy brought up. They're only going to win that way as if they play as a team. World Series victories have been far and few between for the Yankees. That there's no doubting that. I'm not a baseball fan, so I'm not sticking up for anything. But whether it's past history or not, what happened 10 seconds ago is past history here. The Yankees are still showing to be a better team. The Mets, I'm not going to say that they're a joke because they're not. And I don't know what I'm even talking about when it comes to the Mets because I don't follow baseball. But the Mets seem to be a joke because they can't get over a certain hump. No matter who owns the team, they're always going to be the little brother to the Yankees until they start beating them.
That's it.
And that's all there is to it.
Now, Goldschmidt, last year, I'll give you the last 4 years, he's played 158, 151, 154, and 154 games. Last year, he hit 245, not great. He had 65 RBIs, 22 homers, a triple, 33 doubles, 147 hits, and had 70 runs scored. Again, not the greatest year in the world, but as a Yankee first baseman,
by today's standards, dude, that's not all that bad.
Again, if he could duplicate those numbers, hitting behind Aaron Judge, based on what the Yankees got last year at first base, this is already a better team. Max Fried is a number one starter on any other team but the Yankees. Maybe not the Dodgers, but so again, the Mets are a good team. They're better this year. They're better right now than they were last year because you got Juan Soto. doesn't mean you're better than the Dodgers, Phillies, or the Braves at this point. So we'll see. Listen, it's a long week. It's a long way to start.
Evidently, the Dodgers have been on a roll the last couple of years.
Well, Dodgers
and everything that you're saying about the Yankees might be true, but the one thing they couldn't do was beat the Dodgers.
Absolutely. And again, I'm not predicting the Yankees are going to win the World Series. The Yankees are luckier. They're in a weaker league. The American League is weaker than the National League. The Yankees are still a top 2 or 3 team in all of baseball, but they're by far the best team in the American League because they're in the American League. In the National League, they'd be right in the middle of the pack with the Braves, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Phillies. You know, they'd be in a all big pack. In the American League, to me, they're much better than everybody else. The Orioles were supposed to be the wonder team. They fell apart last year. The Blue Jays haven't done shit. You know, the Cleveland Indians are a joke. You know, there are no great teams in the American League beside, again, I'm going to say the Yankees are a great team because, you know, they win in it. So, but I go back to your point. I'm not upset the Yankees did not sign Soto because they would have done nothing else. They would not have signed Fried. They would not have signed Devin Williams. They would not traded for Cody Bellinger. You know, they would not have traded for Devin Williams. The Yankees would have been stuck with the same team that they were last year, and we would have won 91 games, got to the playoffs, and lost. So not getting Soto.
Do you think that the Yankees, first time back in the World Series in well over 10 years, 10, 15 years, whatever it was, with a fire underneath them, and they're going to try to get there again and again?
Yes. I think not signing Soto lit a fire under them because it was embarrassing to them to not only not be able to sign him. Because think about this, 10, 15, 20 years ago, Soto would have been a Yankee. Like, nobody would have played in their ballpark. You know, he would have been a Yankee. Now you're competing with the Mets across town. The Mets are a better team now, right now. So, yeah, there's a little buzz there. So I think the Yankees, with losing the World Series the way they did, especially as embarrassing as Game 5 was, I think that losing Soto has lit a fire to go out there. I don't know about the players, but the organization has got a fire under it right now. But I don't know about the players yet.
Well, you know, listen, you would like to think, like I said before, that some of these guys, regardless of what team they're on, that they have one common goal, and that's to get to the World Series and win the World Series. And there are a lot of people in this league that I could see that really don't seem to worry about if they get there or not. They're just happy to play the game someplace, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, no, it's very true. I think that goes to a lot of things with culture and chemistry, but I think it all starts with, you know, there's a lot to be said about the Patriot way. You know, everybody hated Belichick, hated Brady, but when you walked in the doors there, you knew that they did things a certain way, and you either acquiesced and did it their way, or you got out because you did not go in there and say, I'm going to be my own. I'm doing my own thing against you guys. And the Yankee way used to be that way. They were different. The Raiders were very successful a lot of years. There was a Raider way. You know, they had a certain type of player. They did things a certain type of way, and they were successful for a long time. I think when you lose culture as a team, when you lose your identity as a team, I think it's very, very hard to be successful on a year-to-year basis.
Yeah, but here's where a lot of culture is lost, Tom. Okay, Soto, he signed for $765.
Yeah,
with the Mets.
Yep,
he could have made $760 with the Yankees, a team that was already at the World Series, that was in the World Series.
I agree.
You left for $5 million. There are other guys that left over the lifetime of the contract. No, maybe there was something else within the contract that he didn't like. That's why he didn't go with it. But there are other people that would have taken that in a heartbeat to go play in the world, possibly go play in the World Series. Now, I understand that the Mets are an up-and-coming team and that they may be somebody to be reckoned with for the next 10 years. We don't know. Time will tell.
Right.
But I just feel as though that when you're thinking about this and you look at this, you'd be like, wow, if I was him, how do you leave the Yankees for $5 million? You could have made that on endorsements, anything. One way or another, you could have made that in no time.
Well, there's a couple of things with the contract that are a little above and beyond just the $5 million. So there's an escalation clause in the Mets contract. So at the end of the Mets 15 years, he could have made over $800 million, like $805 or $810 million, where the Yankees was a $760. So at the end of the thing, you're talking about $3 million more a year for another $45 million. So is it big? Is that an end all?
That's big too.
So that's one. Two, at after year 5 with for the first 5 years with the Mets, he's making $300 million, which is actually $60 million a year. So at that point, there's where it kicks in. So at that point, he can opt out. The Mets can keep him from opting out of his contract after 5 years by giving him $5 million more a year. So at the end of the day, his deal goes from $765 to like $805 or $810 if he opts out and they force him to stay by giving him the $5 million a year. Now, at that point, he can opt out and they can say, thank God, take care of yourself. But who's going to see that happening to him? But at the end of the day, he has a chance to make an extra $45 million over the course of time with the Mets than he did with as the Yankee deal. And his first 5 years, it's a $60 million a year deal, which is.
Well, you know what? Listen, like I said, I don't follow all the ins and outs of it, so I don't know. But I do know this. If you're making that kind of money, why not go after the trophy? You're already.
I agree.
Pretty good.
To be honest with you, if you would have told me that there was a matter of $5 million a year and he was going to take the Mets offer over the Yankees, I would thought you were nuts, because I thought he loved playing for the Yankees. He gets to hit in front of Judge. He's got a superstar player on his team. I was shocked when they said that he's going to sign with the Mets for that. I would have thought, and no offense to the Mets, I would have thought that they would have blown everybody out. Like everybody else was 700 and the Mets were, 790. Like I thought it was going to be one of those type of things, and it's not. It's a matter of literally, in theory, $5 million total, but over the course with the adjustments after the opt-out, it could be $40 million over 15 years.
That's another story.
Right. So that's the whole thing. So to me.
Yeah, but let me ask you something. 26 years old, you come to the Yankees and you disregard the Mets deal, come to the Yankees, and then what happens? You end up fucking winning the World Series. Think about that one, Tom. Think about that. Say you win 2 or 3 World Series over the next 5 years.
With the Mets or the Yankees?
With the Yankees.
Okay.
Okay. You're not making that money back in investments one way or another.
Listen, I always say that, and there's nothing wrong with the Mets. Don't get me wrong. But if you're Aaron Judge or Juan Soto and you play for the New York Yankees with that brand, I'm sorry, you're making more money off the field than you do as Juan Soto, New York Mets. Again, if the Mets go out there now and in the next 5 or 7 years they go to 3 World Series and win 2 of them, maybe that changes. I don't know. But right now, as it stands, you're not telling me that the Met brand is more successful than the Yankees. It's just not. It's not true. So, to your point, yeah, if he would have came here, wrote it out, maybe next year, they make a couple of moves and they would actually win a World Series or 2. Yeah, I agree that he would have quadrupled his money. But listen, he made a decision. Some people say it was for the perks. Some people say it was for the dollars and cents. I'm not buying his. I've been watching the Mets, and I think their culture, well, their future's brighter than the Yankees. I'm not buying that. So you can tell me anything you want. The Mets do not have a brighter future when the Yankees have the best player in baseball, arguably over Ohtani, but they have the best hitter in baseball right now in Aaron Judge. So that's not possible. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I'm looking forward to baseball season, and it's listen, another month and a half, football will be over, and it'll be a week before pitchers and catchers. So we're gonna find out sooner than later. But I got one more topic, unless you got anything. I want to talk about Kiss a little bit here, and Gene Simmons has been big in the news lately. He's out there roaming the states and South America with his solo band. Paul Stanley's been interviewed and says that he could see that there might be some opportunities for some one-off Kiss shows, which, again, I don't know if we've talked about that in the past. I hope doesn't happen because that would really blow my mind. But and also, Gene Simmons did a version of, do you know the song Stormy Weather? It was a back in no sun up in the sky, stormy weather. That was a very famous song back in the 40s.
Yeah, okay.
So he redid that song. Gene Simmons sang, and you can find it out there. And they used it for the movie, the biopic about Ronald Reagan. For some reason, that was a song in that movie, and Gene Simmons did it. And this has nothing to do with that. So my thought process was this. Let's say Kiss writes the same music that Kiss fans fell in love with, those first 6, 7, 8 albums, which to a Kiss fan, I'm not saying to you, I know you're not a big Kiss fan, but to Kiss fans is legendary. If they put that same music out without the makeup, are they as successful?
I don't think so, because they already had a run without the makeup, and they went back to the makeup. And at this point in time, I don't think there's a band out there that has the ability to reach back to what they did at one point in time and capture people's interest. Because I think if Kiss was able to do it, Gene Simmons would still be out there doing it with Kiss.
Well, I'm just talking about if Kiss had come out day one, no makeup, that the makeup never existed. Would Kiss have become Kiss? But the same catalog of music, right? Same musicians, everything's the same, but no makeup. Would Kiss have reached the heights that they did with just being musicians and the music they wrote?
No, because when they came out, part of their thing was the shock value of their show.
Yeah.
With the blood, the fire, and everything else. While it might not seem much now, it was big back then.
It was huge. 1975, 76. Nobody on the planet, not Elvis, not Elton John, not anybody, not any entertainer was bigger than Kiss for those few years. Nothing. I mean, they were on lunchboxes, commercials.
On everything.
They were, yeah. I mean, so to me, I guess what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but you're saying was it wasn't about the music. It wasn't about the.
I can't say that it wasn't about the music. I don't think the music was the first thing that it was about. I think that their stage show and their aura and everything that they were doing, I think helped feed the Kiss machine, so to speak. That it wasn't just about the music. That would, no, definitely not. There was a lot going on with Kiss at that point in time when they were coming up. The stage show, the costumes, the makeup, the blood, the fire, Gene Simmons with the tongue, the characters, each one depicting a different character, each one being able to perform. You got to remember something. You had Kiss, you had 4 guys that could sing lead in that band. Maybe not, on par with some of the singers of their era, but I mean, you had 4 people that could sing, which was made them very diverse. Kiss, their first couple albums, I don't want to say they sounded the same, but they had the same feel. Parasite and Cold Gin and, Firehouse and Black Diamond. A lot of those songs, they all could have, if you'd said, yeah, this one was on Hotter Than Hell, Hotter Than Hell, Hotter Than Hell. Oh, this one was on Rock and Roll Over. Oh, this one was on Destroyer. You would believe it because those songs all kind of were interchangeable. Like it almost like they all recorded everything at once and just put it on different albums as they needed to release an album.
Sure.
And, then when they took the makeup off, and I understand it was a time, don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid. Do we really need to see what Gene Simmons looked like without makeup on? Did that make our lives better? You look at Vinnie Vincent without makeup, and we really need to see these guys without makeup on.
No, I think the Kiss was larger than life because of the makeup, because of the stage show. the music was great. I mean, I look back at it now, and I still love the music. I love listening to that music. But had you thrown the music out there, like if that music shows up on the radio, you're listening, but is it really captivating you? Thousands of people showing up, for Kiss cartoons and Kiss comic books? No, the attraction was the makeup, the fire, the blood, flying through the air. That was what captured it. But it's interesting to think that these are the same guys who performed it and who sang it and wrote it, and yet they would have been overlooked had it not been for the makeup, I believe.
Well, don't look at it this way too. Here's something else to think about, and I don't know how you feel about this. Think about Kiss and what they were doing almost 50 years ago. Okay, they were doing it. There was no internet. There was no videos. There was no DVDs. There was no streaming. There was no nothing. People had to buy it. You were lucky enough to go see them live, or you didn't go see them live.
Right.
There were very few clips of them actually playing and performing. Now, thanks to the internet, you can look up any era of Kiss you want and see a live clip of them playing.
Sure.
So maybe you didn't want to see some of these songs, years ago, but now, they're so old and they've stopped playing that you can look up anything and see any song. And it'd be like, wow, this is what Kiss was like, and this is great stuff. But back then, you had to imagine it. There was no, we didn't, unless they put out live material, you couldn't look up live material whenever you wanted to. Now you could look up shows from back in the fucking 70s and 60s of certain bands.
Yeah, sure.
That's a tool that we did not have back then.
No, it's true. But again, while and have had that tool back then, the Kiss would have been. Think about if there was YouTube and the internet in 1975, how much bigger Kiss would have been.
Listen, maybe they would have been bigger. Who knows? Maybe it would have been a detriment to them. Who knows?
That's possible. I think the mystery would have gone because what was the big mystery about Kiss? My mom used to buy the Inquirer every week. I don't know if your mom was a big fan of the Inquirer.
But there was Gene Simmons tapping shit.
Right. But every week there was a picture of this is what Kiss really looks like. And it was a bunch of guys. You go, I wonder if that's really Kiss. And then you find out later on that wasn't Kiss. They were just posting pictures of guys. But had there been the internet, Gene Simmons was in Studio 54 every other day. And they were partying in LA. Had there been internet back then, you would have the mystery would have been solved a long time before, they took the makeup off. That's all I'm saying. And I think that added to the illusion and the grandeur of what Kiss was. The music was great and you loved it, but what captured you was everything else. And then that kept you. And the music's still good. But Kiss does not have that same allure in those days without the makeup. And again, catching a sighting of Kiss back in the day, you're right. You got lucky to go to a concert, or you once in a blue moon you showed up on TV at Paul Lynde's Halloween special.
Oh yeah.
The first time I ever saw them, that's where I saw them. So interesting. Paul Lynde comedy special. Yep, that the Halloween special. That was the first time, 1970. October 31st, 1975, I believe. October 30th, 1975. One or the other. But that was the first time I saw Kiss, and I was hooked from that point on. So, but listen, it is what it is. But listen, guys, it's the left at 9. I got a couple things I want to do before the day's over, and I got a little bit of practicing to do for Monday night's Big Jam. I am spending way too much time on it, but I am trying to make sure I have all my parts down anyway. So, Jeff, what's you got Saturday night, 9:00, Remorons at Mother Pug's, correct?
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yep.
Frankie Catalano, we missed you, man. We could have used you tonight.
And Frank is stuck, and he comes on after 9:00.
Yes.
All right, Frank, it was painless for you.
So the big show, if you guys are on Staten Island on Saturday night and you're looking to step out with the missus or come on down and listen to some great music, the Remorons hit the stage at 9:00. They are the first band, so it's perfect. We won't have any bands clogging up the night, so come on down to Mother Pug's 9 o'clock Saturday night in Staten Island and catch the Ramoran show. February 1st is there's another show for the middle-aged delinquents.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's more coming in.
I don't even know where that is, to be honest with you.
I thought it was Wednesday. I hear you, Frankie. I hear you. To be honest with you, I didn't realize there was a show tonight till yesterday afternoon. I was sitting in the house. I went, holy shit, today's Wednesday. We got a show tomorrow night. I texted Jeff to say, you're good, because I forgot that it was already Wednesday. So I'm thinking it was Sunday the whole day. So that's where my head was. But yeah, we'll be back next Thursday night. We're doing our year-end 2024 Hello 2025 show. So make sure you show up. Jeff has his annual list, and of course, I will put together my list of great events from 2024 and what I'm looking forward to in 2025. And of course, we want to hear what you guys have to say as well. So you guys got some homework to do. You got a great show Saturday night to see. There's a lot of great football this weekend. I know he said there's only 2 weeks left in the NFL. Yes, I did watch the 30-30 on Sack Exchange. I don't know if Jeff's seen it yet. I doubt it.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I have. It's I thought it was very well done. Very well done. Very, 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 very well done. So I'm hoping Jeff will get to see it. Again, if you're on Staten Island on Monday night, we got the big Rosebank Boys Jam over at Mode Music at 6. We'll be eating some pizza somewhere about 4. We'll let everybody. We won't let everybody know, but you're just watching it now. It's well worth it. Well worth to watch. It's a very interesting 1 hour. So take a. If you get a chance, please DVR and watch it. It's a good watch. So, but if you're on Staten Island on Monday night, please stop by and see us. You can see a bunch of the old timers still around and doing their thing. So, again, Saturday night, Mother Pugs is Jeff and the Ramorons. Monday night's the Rosebank Jam. Tuesday night is New Year's Eve. Please be, if you're going out, please be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Take an Uber and enjoy your week between Christmas and New Year's. And again, I'm looking for a new holiday classic. So if you got one, please give me some suggestions. Fred Claus was good, not good enough. Elf sucks. So I'm looking for some 2020. It's 1987, buddy. When are we? Matt, Mark Castano eating a shit sandwich. Don't forget to go Broncos Saturday at 4. Where were you guys this whole night? We were sitting here all night long. Nobody's around. And now you show up.
Yeah.
Matt. Yeah, if it was only 1987, Matt, I'd like to take a shot at it again. So yes, man.
Thank you.
Good luck to the Blackest Sabbath playing Red Zone Invasion this week, and of course, Bees Knees against the Steel Yanks. So good luck to our fantasy league as it comes to an end, and good luck to the Broncos. Good luck to all the teams this week, and good luck to Jeff and the Ramorons. Jeff, I hope you guys have a great show Saturday night.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so that's it for us tonight, and we again wish you a Merry Christmas from Jeff and I and our families to you and all of yours, and we look forward to having you back for New Year. So please do me a favor. Don't drink and drive. Stay home. Stay in the house. If you're going out, do me a favor. Take an Uber or get a designated driver. If you need me to drive you, I'll be happy to do it because I don't drink and drive. So, but in the meantime, have a great holiday. And so from Jeff and myself and everybody here at Hard Rock and Sports, have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, a great weekend, a great holiday, and a great next week. And we'll see you back here next Thursday night for the year-end Hard Rock and Sports show. So have a great night, Jeff. I will definitely talk to you off the air.
You got it, man. I'll talk to you later.
Good night, everybody.
See you later.
See you later, guys. Later, Joe.
Bye.